Okay, in this third video on analytics, we're going to talk about the Cashflow app. So in the prior two videos, if you didn't watch them, in the first video, we talked about how to load an analytics template and how to understand it. And in the second video, we talked about how to change some of the formulas and customize the template. So I'm going to assume for the purpose of this video that you have an analytics template set up already. Because the Cashflow app actually works off the analytics template. Now, if you've spent time looking at the analytics template, whether it's this one or one that you've built yourself, you'd understand that the template is quite good at getting you down to an ungeared profit and an ungeared margin on cost. What's missing then to take it to a full development feasibility is a few things. One is understanding phasing, if you want to phase buildings across different stages. And then connected to that, if you want to add escalation rates for cost and revenue and have them be different by phase. The second thing it's missing is if you want to calculate an IRR and actually cash flow your revenues and your costs to get to an IRR or an equity return. And the third is debt assumptions if you want to do financing assumptions as well. And so to do those things, we need the Cashflow app. Within the Australian feasibility pack template I loaded, if you haven't got that pack or if you're in a different region, you can add the Cashflow app from the App Store, depending on what tier of subscription you're on. So if you're not sure if you have access to it, do just speak to your account manager. See, I've just clicked on the Cashflow app here. And this is the view that I get. You'll see at the top, there's a chart, which I can turn on and off, depending on whether I want to look at that. And then at the bottom, there's a table that's very similar to the analytics table that we looked at before. And that's because it's directly pulling from that analytics table. You'll see in the way I've set up this Giraffe project, I've actually split my project into two layers. So I have a layer called phase one, which has this part of the car park, some retail and a residential for sale building. And then I've got phase two, which has the rest of the car park, the podium and a build to rent building. And I've put those on different layers in Giraffe and I've split my analytics by layer. So I can see in my analytics, those two phases as separate columns. And that's important because depending on how your analytics is set up, that's what you'll be able to apply your cash flow and your escalation assumptions to. So when I go back to the Cashflow app, you'll see I'm at a summary page that's very similar to that analytics page I looked at before. And I've got a couple of tabs here where I can go into each of those phases. And I've got an escalation switch here where I can turn escalation on and off on those different figures. Now, the first thing you want to do when setting up your cash flow template is have a look at the profiles that are attached to each line. So if I click this Edit Assumptions button, it's going to bring in this extra column here called Assumptions. I might just expand this across so you can see it a bit more clearly. And so for every line in Analytics, there's a profile that's attached to that line. Land acquisition, design and planning, start on site construction, PC, settlement. And you can create as many different profiles as you want. So when I click Edit Assumptions here, for every line in my analytics, you can see the profile that's attached. And I can just go through and check those and make sure I'm happy with them all. So say, for example, with the land value, I've got that on the land acquisition date. Let's say we paid that on start on site for some reason. Maybe that was the deal we had, so I could change that to start on site. And then that will update when that is cash flowed. So by clicking Show and Hide Assumptions, you can see what profile is being used. Then by clicking on the phase, you can actually see that cash flow. So if I look at phase one, here's my current cash flow. There's some design costs first, then my statutory costs and land is coming in on start on site. Then I've got construction costs coming out here, and then my settlement is coming in at the end. And again, on this view here, I can view this as unescalated numbers, or if I press the escalation button, it's going to show me the escalated numbers. And if I actually hover over these figures, it'll show me those formulas, same as what we had on analytics. And it will also show me the escalation rates that are being applied. So where do all these assumptions come from? All these assumptions come from this settings part of the module here. So if I go into settings, you'll see a few different things. So the first assumption here, total cash flow measure, this needs to be set to your profit line. By default in our templates, it should pick up that line. But if your template's looking funny and it hasn't picked up that line, then you just need to make sure you've selected the tab and you've selected the line that is your profit line. And so that is the total cash flow. And what it's then going to do is work back through the formulas to work out what goes into that cash flow. And it will pick up everything that's on the same tab. So as long as all of your calculations for your P&L are on that one tab, it will pick them up. If they're on a different tab, it's not going to pick them up. So make sure it's all on one tab. Group by here is the same as on analytics. So this is how we're splitting it. At the moment, I'm splitting it by layer. And then we've got this new assumption called cash flow start month. That will default to the current month that you're in. So I could change that here if I want to make it July. And that's the start of my cash flow. So that could be any date that you want. That then sets the starting dates for this table below. And so in the table below, you have these different profiles that we were looking at before. And for each of them, you can set a start month and a duration, as well as an escalation profile that you want to use, where you're going to escalate it to, and whether you want to S-curve the cash flow or you just want a straight line. So here, land acquisition, I'm starting in month 1. It goes for 1 month. Design and planning, I'm starting in month 1. It goes for 12 months. So say I wanted that to go for 15 months. I would change that there. Then my start on site, now my design's going longer. So say I want that to start at month 16 now. That would go across. Here again, 16. And you can see the date. So that's now September 29. So I understand 16 plus 24. I now need to change this to October 29. And so you can very quickly set those dates for the period that you're looking at and have those assumptions there for the dates. Now for escalation, for each section, you also pick an escalation profile. And so down the bottom here, you can see the different escalation profiles. I've just got a cost and a revenue one, but I may want to have a different cost. So say this is construction cost, and then I also want to add a row for CPI, right? I might put CPI in at 2.5. And if you've got numbers, you can type these in. So say I know it's 3 this year, then 2.5, then assume it's 3.5 ongoing. And if you click the arrow, it will then fill the rest of the profile with that number. Whereas construction costs, say that's running at 4 the whole way along. So I can run those different assumptions through. You can also set when you want your escalation to start. So it will only start from the cash flow start month. But if I wanted to say, actually, let's not even bother escalating anything until next year, I can set it to start from that date, and then they'll be the dates that the escalation will change. Now, at the moment, this is applying the same cash flow and escalation profile to both phases. And so what I may want to do next is actually set a different profile for each of the phases. So I'd start by setting this all profile with the dates that I want, the escalation rates I want to use. So say design and planning now uses CPI, for example. Maybe my land doesn't escalate. Another thing you can change is the date you escalate to. So by default, it will escalate to the midpoint. But it might be with your sales, for example, you actually, because you're doing pre-sales before you start on site, and you don't want the cash flow to come in until PC, but actually you're going to lock in the price earlier. That's why you may want to pick a different date here of how far you want to escalate the revenue to. But if I want to start doing it different for each phase, what I do is I go to the phases. By default, it will take the first phase that I've got in all, And so that's got the same assumptions. So let's say for phase 1, that's fine. I want to start that at the start. But maybe phase 2, I want to make some changes. And so the easiest way to do that, if I just change this first cell and say this phase is going to start a year later, and then I push this down button here, that's just going to push everything out by 12 months. And so it all starts 12 months later. So I may do that to start with, and then I can always tweak these assumptions as well. So by doing that, I've now input these date assumptions for my defaults, and for the phases, I've input my escalation profiles. So if I press close there, that's now going to update my cash flow. If I turn my chart back on, we can see now those different cash flows coming in at different times. I've got the ungeared kind of figures there for phase 1, and then blue is phase 2. I can turn the escalation on and off to see the impact that it has on the numbers. So the next thing I may want to look at then is my debt assumptions and my finance assumptions. So again, if I press edit assumptions here, I can see what assumptions are being used. So we scroll down, we've now cash flowed out those different phases. That's got us down to a profit, an ungeared profit. I've got an ungeared margin on cost and ungeared IRR now from that cash flow. If I want to do gearing, I would then move to the financing section and I would enter my gearing assumptions. So there's 2 ways you can set up the financing. It does just assume one debt facility per phase, to be clear, so you can't have multiple debt facilities at the moment, but you can have one per phase. So there's 2 options. You can go pari passu, so you want the debt to be drawn down in parallel to the equity, or you could say the equity needs to go in first. So if you look at these lines, the dotted line is the equity. So if the equity comes in first, it's going to look like this. You put the equity in and then you kind of debt fund the rest. If you do pari passu, it's going to look more like this, where you're actually jointly funding it the whole way along. So let's do equity in first for this example. You can also select when you want to draw down the debt. So you could draw it down right at the start of the project, or you could draw it down to start on site. And so that will impact when the debt comes in. And then you enter your assumptions. So what percent of cost do we want funded by debt? Got 65 there. Is there an establishment fee? Is there a commitment fee? So that's the fee you'll get charged on the total value of the facility. And Giraffe will automatically calculate the facility size based on what it thinks you'll need to be able to achieve the drawdown you're looking for. So we'll use that facility size to calculate the commitment fee and then your interest rate. And then the repayments are calculated automatically. So that gives you the total finance costs, and from that you can get your geared profit, your geared margin on cost, your geared IRR, your equity drawdown, and your return on equity figures. And so if I now go into each of those phases, I will see those figures now being calculated for the financing section as it runs that debt account against the cash flows that sit above. So you can see here very quickly within Giraffe, if you set this up as a template and save it, then again, you've got a template for the next project you want to do, and you don't need to change those assumptions every time. You can just load your cash flow template and your analytics template, and you're good to go with your standard modeling. Once I've done this modeling, I may want to then bring it out into Excel so I can use it in the next part of my process. And so there is a download button here. And if you click that, this will actually download everything we've got here as an Excel file. And that Excel file will actually include the formulas for the debt and things as well. So if you wanted to validate how Giraffe is calculating those formulas, you can do that as well. So you'll see now I've got the cash flow here in Excel. I've got my summary tab linking to the other tabs. I can click here on phase 1. And I've got my whole phase 1 cash flow, revenue and cost, as well as my debt assumptions and my debt formulas and my IRRs all calculated here. And this will also bring out your other tabs as well. So I've also got here my areas and my metrics and my assumptions. So what a lot of people will do is actually take this tab if they want to continue using their existing Excel model. Maybe they want to model joint ventures or more complicated things. What you can do is just add a tab to your existing model, copy and paste this information in there, and then use VLOOKUPs to reference the two across. So anytime you make a change to Giraffe, you just download this file again, pop it into your Excel model, and you've got all your assumptions pre-populated there. So that was a run through of how the Cashflow app works in Giraffe. Again, really keen to get your feedback. If you have any challenges using the app or afford good ways to extend it, do just reach out to us. We would love to work with you and help you achieve your goals using Giraffe.